Hello and welcome to the Dareful Project. I'm Deborah Hotelling. So you know that scene in Pretty Woman where Julia Roberts has this handful of money and no one will take it so that she can buy a dress? That's how I feel as a consumer being over 50. Either I am completely invisible or they somehow think that the only thing I want to do is walk down a beach and wear like a little soft knitted sweater. But then there's Caddis. Caddis says it's a mission disguised as an eyewear company, and that feels completely true to me. And joining us today is the CEO and founder, Tim Parr, who's going to talk to us about how they are breaking stuff and having way too much fun for a brand and how they got there. Tim, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So if you don't mind, I would like to start by reading the language that's on the back of the box, because it's amazing. So this is what it says, folks. It says, "This is for people who are not in the long process of giving up. It has everything to do with age, but nothing to do with your job, your gender, or whether you live in Orange County or Hazard County. It has to do with being who you are and owning it." Tim, where did that come from?
That was just a late night. The bottom of this box is all white, and I hate that. And I want to put something on the bottom of that.
Come on, it's more than that, though.
I know. That actually came before we were even on a mission. So prior to that being written, we were just an eyewear company looking for money. And we hadn't even shipped anything yet because we had no investors. We didn't have anything. So, someone was talking just the night before about how like 50 is a new 40, 60 is a new 50. And I don't get it. And if this is going to be a lifestyle brand, you have to be authentic in order to be a lifestyle brand. And I don't understand this whole position on age and reading glasses. There's no better product to have a conversation about age than reading glasses. But at the time that I wrote that, it was a subconscious thing. And then I had someone read that to me who didn't like it, a potential investor, and she said, "You can't do that."
Wait, talk to me more about that. So, because that feels exactly true how those conversations would go.
Yeah. And I asked her, "Well, why can't I do that?" And they said, "No one wants to believe that they're the age that they actually are. And everyone wants to think that they're 15 years younger." And that was the end of the meeting. and I had to pack up my things and walk down, 5 flights of stairs to the sidewalk. And when I hit the sidewalk, that's when it hit me. Oh my God. Like, we're actually in the age business. We're not in the eyewear business. We're in the age business. And that's when everything shifted.
And what was the thinking beyond that? Because I know from other entrepreneurial friends, when you go back and you tell the origin story, it sounds like, of course, that was obvious. But at the time, you're like, I am all by myself here, and every force is telling me that this is a ridiculous idea.
Well, we didn't have our why prior to that moment. And every brand needs a why. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have a why, then you're just making stuff. And if you're just making stuff, I don't care. It's not enough to get me out of bed. So it was at that moment that it was, oh my God, now we have a why. And it's David and Goliath. It's all these things that we need in order to to be propelled forward.
And then what happened after that?
I was running down the street and I called up I had at the time probably 4 co-founders, and I was calling them each up, and I told them, we're like, this is a pivot almost of sorts. This whole idea that people are afraid of their age is exactly what this whole brand is going to be about. And I got a mixed bag of results of I don't know about that, and to sounds good to me, let's go. So so it was quite the thing. And it was like 6 years ago, before the age conversation had entered, somewhat of pop culture of where it is today. So it was really new and different, and it felt right because it was such a taboo subject. It's less taboo today, but back then it felt really, I guess taboo is the best way to put it.
Yeah. I remember in a past life sitting with marketing colleagues after sitting through a terrible marketing pitch where the over 50 folks, we were told that they were sad, and the whole marketing pitch was going to be, we're going to make them happy again. I'm like, I just went surfing to Costa Rica. I am not sad at all. I've got money, I've got some time, and I got to get some stuff done here. And so I went back to my marketing colleague and I said, where's the data on this? What is it? Where are you getting the fact that I really want a 20-year-old face telling me how I should feel? And he's like, oh, everybody knows that. Plus, I would get killed in my own career if I decided that I was going to start representing over 50 folks. It just felt like this giant wall. And even talking about it, to your point, that it was an absolute taboo.
Yep. It's so ingrained in American culture, which makes it great. And having been born and raised on 80s punk rock and the rest of it, it felt in board sport culture. It was so familiar. Everyone's going this way, thinks this way. All right, we're going to go that way and stir the pot that way.
How did you was it easier to find money once you pivoted that way and found your why?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes. Because at that point, people understood the market. When originally before that, everyone brought up Warby Parker. They would say, well, Warby Parker does this. I go, no, they don't. Like, this is, our original position was reading glasses. And, Warby does reading glasses, but it's a afterthought, and it's a millennial brand. And this is for people over 45 or 40. And you can't be all things to all people. So give them that younger demographic, and we'll take everyone over 40.
And you guys are so true to that. I want to read like the entire the entire thing I have here, but here's an example, folks. They have these terrific aviators, and the description on the aviators is, these classic wireframe aviators are throwing it back to the days of doing fun stuff without helmets, seatbelts, or sunscreen. And I cannot believe that you got a lawyer to sign off on that.
There's a few things that my cell phone would ring off the hook with attorneys. I probably shouldn't get into, but yeah, I got some great attorneys.
And once you got out into the wild with this, was it a hit right away, or did you have to feel your way through to your voice and find the audience?
So there's two ways to answer that. One way, with the product, I feel it was a direct hit. Right people at the right time with the right stuff at the right price. So I feel in that regard, it was a direct hit. And then people started to pick up on the brand position. And we were I think all brands always are feeling their way through culture. So we may have started off a certain way, but even next week, we'll be doing things a little bit differently than we did last month. And that's because brands are organic, and we have to change with them and whatever our audiences are doing.
Your motto is get older, own it, see stuff. What has surprised you about the journey of that?
Oh man, so much has surprised me. I'm surprised at how clear people understand what we're doing. That actually surprises me, because as brand people, marketers, however you want to put it, product manufacturer or product designers, all we can do is send messages out. And once we send them out, we have no control over them. So it's people's perceptions, and what they're going to do with it is really we're at the mercy at. And that's the way it always works and always has worked. So when the messages started to come back to us exactly how we wanted them to be, I was really surprised about that. People got it.
That must have been thrilling.
It was.
Because until that moment, you're like, am I shouting out into the universe and is anything going to come back?
Right. That's right. And, there's a part of me that's like, well, I don't care because it's the right thing to do regardless. I just knew it's the right thing to do. And I don't mean right thing to do in order to make money. It's just the right thing to do. And so in some ways I protect myself against, is this bad? Is it good? Is it right? Is it wrong? Because that can be a dark hole to go down. Mm-hmm. So having said that, the first week we were getting people taking selfies, and I'll never forget this woman in the Midwest somewhere, like bought a pair, got them. And this was probably the first month of shipping product and being online. She just had the simple statement of, I guess being old is now cool. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's like, okay, I'm done. Like month one, like mission accomplished. And that was probably my biggest surprise. And then we've had really good, amazing people who have joined our mission, whether they be, actors or activists or artists or fashion or music, asking how they can help, and they do help in a bunch of different ways. So that's always surprising. And I don't know, it's just a nice surprise. I guess I'll just leave it at that.
And it feels real in that way. There are so many brands you can see that they've plugged in, here's our token person over a certain age. And it just feels tired and condescending. Mm-hmm. But, you guys, I can tell that you get juice from this. You are excited to have, faces that are really badass, are beautiful, and are not just like, here's our token old person.
Right.
I mean, you guys are really, juiced is just the right word. I can tell that you guys are in the flow of something really exciting when you do this. And it feels true with your partnerships. Who do you have? Bobby Brown, right?
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. And, everything that you do feels true to that brand. Mm-hmm. I mean, how does that work on a day-to-day basis? Do you, I don't know, tell me your day. How does that work?
Oish. So how does it work? You mean the authenticity component?
Yeah.
It helps that we are the target demographic. I am not good enough. I mean, I've done this my entire life, these types of things, but I am not good enough to sit in a room and lead teams on communicating or creating products for 18 to 25-year-olds. Like I can't. So this is one of those rare opportunities where we can use 30 years of experience in brand and marketing and positioning to the same people we were doing that 30 years ago in some of the similar ways and be authentic, because we are the market. We are the industry that we're trying to talk to. So for us, it's just conversations.
And your own journey on this, you were at Patagonia, right? What were the experiences that sort of have culminated over your own career that you suddenly went, oh my God, I've got all of this. I now can do this other amazing thing. What have been those experiences that you've tapped in on?
Yeah. So I've had a bike company, clothing company, consultancy. I worked at Patagonia. uh, they were all in the same vein of action sports. And I mean, you just learn along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And, now it's challenging because now we're in or I don't know if we're still in it, but we're coming in and out of like e-commerce as being such a driving force in businesses. So it's been interesting to marry those old school tactics and communication strategies with new school marketing techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm wired for brands. I intrinsically understand them, or certain ones. I say them, not all of them. So in order to take those tenets, that drives those feelings and emotions and thoughts that are embedded in things, and then take that and try and weave it into like online marketing has been new
Mm-hmm.
and different. So it's yeah, I mean, I learn something new every day, to be honest, still. And that's what's exciting.
What do you think brands, not Caddis, but other brands, what do
Mm-hmm.
they not get about our demographic?
They don't understand the 3-dimension characteristics of, let's just call it, our demographic. And because they don't think that we matter, or
Mm-hmm.
they don't think that, or they think that they already got us, or that there's no point in investing in this demographic because you're going to peter out in 5 years. So we might as well take that money and put it into someone 30 years old, because then we'll have them for the next 20 instead of the next 5. All that's being challenged at the moment. I remember sitting in, big meetings, and you'll have very distinct architecture of 18 to 25-year-olds, 26 to 35-year-olds, 35 to 44, and we'll do psychographics, we'll do demographics, we'll architect these people to the nth degree in order to understand behavior, and then that drives product design, it drives marketing. And then I always remember, like, 55 plus. And then that group was always just defined by average household income.
Yeah. It's like those old maps where it just like the ocean just kind of goes off the plane there, right?
It's a great analogy. Yeah.
It's like 30 years though, but it would be the same as going baby and a 30-year-old, kind of all the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and then the fact that a 45-year-old or a 50-year-old has different purchasing behaviors than a 60-year-old, which is different than a 70-year-old.
Yep.
And, these people are relevant, and they want to be talked to. They want to be communicated to, because that helps them make purchasing choices that they're used to, instead of everything stopping.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of left on your own, because I mean, we're social animals. So we want brands to group people so we can talk to one another, so we can make decisions together, so we don't have to do all the work independently.
And you're the perfect brand that way, because I got to admit, I'm loyal to you. And when I see somebody else wearing Caddis, I'm like, we're part of the same tribe, But you guys have done that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, some of it is, it's subconscious for us. It's just how we know how to do it. And it worked, like, everything lined up. So it's, again, these are all things that we've known for 30 plus years, and how action sports was created. Thrasher magazine,
Mm-hmm.
the birthplace of a lot was in that publication. So we just come from a time and a place that things were done a certain way, and we just want that to continue as we age.
Well, you talking about skater culture, now this makes way more sense to me that I can't believe you guys did this. All right, folks. So in this brochure, they not only have all of the good reviews, they put the bad reviews in too. And there's a woman named Diane who only gave you 2 stars, man, because it says, just like mullets, these glasses were never cool. Why bring back ugly? You put it in your brochure. I love that so much.
Yeah, that was fun.
I can't believe you did that either. But now I get it, though. The skater culture, that totally makes sense to me now.
And yes, that's exactly correct. And I had to fight a bit to get those in there. And some people just wanted, well, let's just put 2 or 3 in there. I'm like, no, we're going to put as many good ones as we can find. And we're not going to make them smaller and the good ones bigger. Like, no, like this is all just putting it on the table. And it's a position of strength, and it's defining kind of who we are. And if we had a bunch of positive 5-star reviews, like my mom can sit there and write those reviews, and then we can put them in a catalog and we're good to go. Like, it's like that. I never understood that. But if you put the collective, and then people can make a choice.
Well, not only that, but I want to read them now. I don't want to read the 5-star reviews because for sure you're going to do that. But I'm sort of remembering that you guys even did a little online ad campaign around, this is our ugliest glasses, says Diane, 1 star. And you turned it around and you made it into, as you said, a strength. And I'm like, that's kind of how I feel right now in my life, that I may not be pretty in the conventional way of what I was at 20, but there's still some strength to that sassiness, right? And so I don't think I've loved you more than when I saw those terrible reviews.
Well, what's funny is that when this idea started online on Instagram, and I would pull all the terrible Instagram reviews and comments, because the internet's an ugly place, and these trolls just will show up anywhere. Like, you could be Mother Teresa, and I'm sure she's got trolls as well. I mean, it's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So, I would put them up there, and then like clockwork, you could set your watch, and within minutes, like, our people would come calling and just call them out about how wrong they are, and we get hundreds of comments of like, no, that's not right, blah 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 blah. Like, it was a cattle call, and like everyone would come and put a comment, like a positive comment, and it created a community.
Yep.
For a brief moment.
Well, you're reminding me of Tesla. Tesla fired their PR firm because they had the Tesla boys. You can't go into that community without and disrespect Tesla without somebody showing up and talking back to you online. It's a very tight community.
Right. So people care, which is nice.
Yeah. So have there been other brands that have come to you going, how did you find these people that you call over 50? Look, they have money. They want to buy things. Are other brands coming and trying to understand more?
Yes. I think it's a short answer on that one. I think people are starting to realize that 45 to 65 is a great or whatever, 45 to 70, 45 to 75. It's a great customer.
In what way?
So, the space is somewhat quiet. So it's not like the majority of consumer products are targeting them. So we can have an actual conversation with them without tons of noise. They are intelligent. They have seen a lot, and they know a lot, and we can just assume certain things with them, and we can move forward with that understanding. So we're not blasting marketing messages to the general population, which is, that doesn't do anyone any good. But we're not crafting a message for 18 to 25. We're not crafting a message for 30 to 40. We're crafting one message for a very focused group of people, which is not a small group of people.
Well, and keep me honest here, but I imagine that you actually pull a good number of that younger demographic.
We do, but we don't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
So, we'll get Shopify data, all the time. And I'm always amazed at how many people, let's call it like 25 to 40, are buying glasses, but we do nothing to promote that business. But if they want to buy glasses, like, that's great. And this is something that I learned from Yvon Chouinard, who I got to work directly with at Patagonia. He knew damn well that the person that pays the bills was the guy going from Connecticut to Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
Those people were buying a lot of clothing every day, and the person that was actually living out of their sleeping bag in Yosemite Valley was the benefactor of that. So you can sell things to a wide range of people, but the message and the focus is on a very distinct group.
Does it get any more complicated now that you're super successful?
I'll never consider myself super successful, so that solves that problem.
Okay.
Does it get more complicated? Yes, it does.
In what way?
In what way? I would just pin it on growth.
Mm.
Growth is an interesting concept, and how you approach it, and how you feel about it, and the strategies that you put in place. It's fun, but it's harder. Yeah, it's harder. You can just think it, when we had 6 styles and 2 or 3 clicks and you're done shopping kind of experience. It's a lot different than now we have prescription. We do sunglasses. Everything just gets more complex the bigger you get.
You don't need to tell tales out of school on this, but would you consider expanding the brand to be other things outside of glasses?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of having the community drive what we do next. And one of the strongest things that I'm hearing back is like, how can Caddis be a platform for this community?
Mm-hmm.
So to move the model from products to platform, I'm pretty excited about platforms. So what that means is that you have this, let's, for a gross word, let's call it a brand platform. So we can do reading glasses, we can do prescription glasses, we can do sunglasses. How about if we do retreats?
Mm-hmm.
If we do media, events, and it kind of, what should we do? And I really listen to the masses and our customer base, and we're hearing a lot of, we want in real life events, and we want community, and we have it. We just need to be a catalyst for people to gel together.
I love this. Could it be like Coachella for us? Could it be music?
Yeah. We're actually, our brand's big in the music. We
Yeah.
actually this is something that a lot of people don't know, but we've been giving a percentage of each product sale to music education. So, yes, it could be all those things.
Or maybe surf camp.
Could be that too.
I love what you're saying here because that absolutely makes sense. And I think after COVID, I don't know about you, but I don't want to do another, here we are talking on Zoom. I wish that we were in the room together because I'm really over Zoom. I'm over online. I don't want to do another yoga class, remote. I just want to sit with people. I will go see anybody speak because I just want to sit in a room with other humans and have an experience together. And
That's right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And finding other folks who are interesting to talk to.
Yep.
Ah.
So as we look at growth, that's what's going to drive the growth beyond, the products that today.
That feels true to the brand and also surprising. So that is super exciting. When should we start looking for some interesting things to drop?
Oh, that's a good question. Some form of it next year.
Okay. Well, next year's almost here, so.
I know.
No stress.
No stress.
So if for other folks who are, thinking that they want to start something new, because again, part of your mantra here is that start the thing that you've been over talking about. Mm-hmm. What's your advice for stopping overthinking and starting to do the thing? How do you begin?
You begin. So the other side of the coin to action is fear. So most people, when you talk to them about starting something new, they're really excited about it. But the thing that prevents that first step, all roads lead back to fear. And I think as soon as you know that and you can address it and you can say to yourself, okay, what am I so scared? So then you're not just blind to why you're not moving forward. You can jump straight forward to what am I scared of and how can I mitigate that? Or what do I need to do in order to manage that better? Because it's crippling me.
And just saying it out loud saps it of some of its power, right?
Totally, because it sounds silly.
Yeah.
And then when you get it out in the open, you realize that it starts to lose power over you. So that's always good.
All right. Well, we're going to get started thinking about our fear and moving forward and owning it because I'm so glad that you're in the world and I can't wait to find out what happens next.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Tim, thanks again. Thanks again. Appreciate you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, Deborah.
Thanks for listening to The Dareful Project. Please follow, like, and leave a review. It really helps. We're on all your favorite platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Audible, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And to connect, you can email me at Deborah@dareful1.com. That's Deborah, Debra, at dareful1, that's with the number 1.com. Thanks for listening.